Just follow your dreams.
That was profound, I thought.
That nearly did me in. Just do what you got to do. Get out of here. Immersing into some sort of a character, and it comes naturally to me.
Brotherly love.
Yeah. It was the one that got to me, for sure.
It was just a shit show. Going places where no one's ever been before.
Hello and welcome to Hot Nerds. I'm your host, Kieran Hennessy, and with me today are two absolute units, legends of young Aussie rock, blazing their own trail. We're still getting ASMR from the rattling iced coffees and lattes here in the studio. Blazing their own trail, Radium Dolls' signature songwriting seamlessly blends humour, ferocity, and introspection. Some of this is
in the bio.
Some of this is directly from the bio, by the way, but it does roll off the tongue nicely. All underpinned by a fearless honesty and exceptional musicianship in their quest to captivate audiences and deliver an unforgettable show. In just a few short years, Radium Dolls have gone from local favourites to a band with global ambitions, carving out their place in Australia's rock scene with sheer force and swagger. Rattle my bones and call me a man scout. Welcome, Will Perkins and Tom Perkins. Thank you so much for being here today.
No, thank you for having us.
And congrats on last night.
Thank
How'd
you.
it go?
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
I had a good fun there in a mosh pit in the Trocadero room.
Yeah. Good room. Sounded good.
First
Lots of
time
people.
being there, even as a punter, and rocked.
Yeah.
People were awesome.
How's it feel seeing people like yelling lyrics back at your face these days?
Well, Will was saying it's a bit embarrassing when they know it better than you do.
Oh, well, no, you. Sounds like something you said about me. But, yeah, it's good. Feels good.
Yeah. And speaking of feeling good, are we feeling good today, or are we a bit dusty? Is that hence the ASMR coming through from the
I'm
ice?
just trying to get this coffee just finished. Done. Deleted.
Are you finished? Are you deleted right
Feeling
now?
good. Yeah, pretty, there's not much left. There's
So
just enough.
Tours are broken up, so there's 2 nights back-to-back maximum. Is that where we're working with?
Yeah, 2 nights. Brizzy on Friday. That was sick.
Does it really feel... It's interesting because I know y'all initially from growing up in Tuncurry, Forster, but now y'all are based in Brizzy, and when you're on stage, that's you've got 2 other boys in the band. You operate out of Brizzy. So it's always, we're from Brizzy, we're representing, and it's interesting to hear that, knowing y'all as Tuncurry locals back in the day. But it's your home now, right? And it's where you're creating all this music. And how does it feel to be playing in a hometown that wasn't initially the hometown?
Oh, Brisbane has been awesome to us.
Yeah.
If it's not where we're from, it's our spiritual home for the band for sure. It's
Yeah. I mean, it's the band's home, I think, is the thing. Like,
Yeah.
the band was born out of Brizzy. With dudes we met around there. And,
But yeah, you really
yeah.
feel a certain love when you play a show in Brisbane. The people just seem to really get behind it, and it's just there's a lot of special energy when you play there for sure.
Yeah, it's such a good city. I really love Brizzy. Welcomed us with open arms
Yeah.
into
And
the music scene. And
you forced Tommy to get up there, didn't you?
oh, it wasn't that hard to sell. We were just talking about this before. Yeah, he was playing covers down here.
Yeah, I was living in Sydney and playing covers, and that
And
was
hating
fun.
it.
Yeah,
And I was playing in some shit band in Brizzy, not loving that. And then I was like, yeah, let's start a new band, but a good one.
And what has that old band taught you about this band? Any mistakes that you're not making, or are you making all the same ones?
Oh, I mean, the old band was riddled with mistakes. No, it was all right. No, I don't know so much if I learnt for anything from. I was swapping with another dude playing drums in that other band, and that was no good. I didn't want to be doing that. It's much better just singing.
I'd say we probably learned as a band in our early stages a bit from what you had done with Pervs.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
they-
I mean, yeah. Started learning about the industry, I guess, and how it works, and how you go about getting shows, and
Maybe where
'cause
you
that
don't want
seems
to play.
like a huge. What's that?
Maybe where you don't want to play and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
and-
like the venues that will be available to you. Yeah. So I guess that side of the business it helped us with for sure, and so did Pervs. Like, gave us a bit of a leg up, and already knew lots of bands and stuff to play with, and yeah.
Was there a natural progression out of that band into this one, or was it just we're jamming together and it has become this whole project?
Yeah, well, I mean, always wanted to play with Tom. We wanted to play, like, we used to play together when we were younger. And we always listened to the same music and stuff, so. And then, yeah, I don't know. I think we all had a bit of a yearning when Ewan and Bryce, because they came together. They were playing in another project together, and I think everyone was just looking for something a bit new and exciting at the time. And I think that's what we did for each other.
Yeah, nice. Did it start just like how? When did you realize this was something that we should actually put a bit extra effort in, or actually start taking it
I
seriously?
thought that from the start.
From the start.
Yeah, I think 'cause
the vision was there.
Yeah, I think when I came up, because I came up for a visit and saw him playing with this other band, and I was like, "This is cool, but we can do it better here." And so I came up, and then paired with Ewan and Bryce and Will, and then I think because we were all a little bit older, we weren't like teenagers. Right from the start, we were like, "Yeah, this is definitely what we want to do."
Yeah, exactly. I think the fact that everyone had already had experience playing in other bands, everyone knew what they were in for, and the fact that everyone was willing to commit to another project and actually go for it. Like we worked so hard in the early years, like just getting together every week, a couple times a week, and practicing when no one wanted to, and everyone's working early and all that. So,
How much
the
does that
boys are good.
hustle? How much did you expect that hustle to be part of it? You just knew that you had to.
yeah, I
kick in,
mean,
eh?
it's the sort of thing that you just do what you got to do because it's what I want to do. So you just fucking do the work. It's like you got a show coming up, you got lots of songs to learn. Get in there and do it. Just learn them.
Yeah.
Like it's just repetition. You got to like go over them, and there's
I
only
will
so much
say-
you want to leave up to.
I was just gonna say, I would say like the managerial and the promotion side of it all was a bit more involved than I would have anticipated, especially in those early bits when you were taking most of it. But just
The admin.
when you're booking your own tour
yeah,
and you've
that
got to book all
bit.
the bands, and you can't book another band until the other band gets back to you, and
Yeah, that nearly did me in. Like just booking bands and doing all that shit. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, and part of the whole hot nerds element here is, allowing people to realize that being a nerd is much more than, a high school stereotype of an
Yeah.
academic. It's, you all have actually put in a lot of hard work, structured your lives for these goals that you're achieving now, and the creative craft as well as, broader strategy around the business and how you get out there. Did you think you were nerdy enough to be on something called Hot Nerds? Do you think of yourself as because I feel like you're somewhat antithetical to nerdiness in terms of presentation, but
Yeah,
when you look at lyrics and the way you're strategizing the band, there's a craft here.
no, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And I think whenever we're not playing music, we're listening to music. Like Will and I live together, so we're always have music on, thinking about things, playing guitar together. And I think especially in those early years where, I had just started my job, and it's just like you work all day, then you go to band practice, and then you play to a gig to, not a crazy amount of people. They're like, "Why are you doing it?" And it's like, well, it's fun. I really enjoy doing it.
And it's what you got to do to get to those
exactly.
later points.
No,
right?
exactly. And that's the funnest part, you know, just ripping in.
Ripping into 5 people in
Yeah,
front of you and
exactly,
learning
yeah.
how to manage that.
Those early shows, I've found that when there weren't that many people there and you didn't shy away from it and you ripped in and acted like there was, a filled out room, they're the fans that from then on come to every show. They're the fans that buy all the merch. Like, there are fans that we have in Brisbane that come to all our shows that we met at those early shows. And I think that's like a really cool thing that we did, is we never felt slighted. If there was no one there, we just ripped in anyway.
Yeah, well, that's a good time to do it. Yeah, there's no one there.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter if it all goes horribly wrong.
Has it ever gone all horribly wrong on stage?
Yeah.
There's been like 2 or 3 times where it's become a bit of a fiasco.
Define fiasco.
The worst one that ever that I nearly walked off stage was Gold Coast at that Mo's show.
Mo's
when
Desert, yeah.
Tom has been drinking since like 9 in the morning. just got right back on the horse after a show. And
No, we played at Byron the night before, and then it was just Byron to Goldie, and I was just enjoying myself, as sometimes you do.
Indeed.
And then, yeah.
indulging on a Sunday.
Yeah, we got there, and the power went out to my pedal board on stage.
It was just a shit
Yeah.
show. Like, Ewan's bass was out of tune for like 3 songs. Tom couldn't get his guitar to work. Like, it was just, I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no, there
it
was
was
just a bunch of-
disaster. It was
yeah.
one of those ones where you just can't even save it. Like, it's just cringe.
And you're just looking out at the crowd, and you're just like, I'm sorry.
You're like, I don't know.
get
Everything
through it,
inside,
but,
you're
yeah.
screaming, get out of here.
yeah. It's triggered you flight or fight, but you can't actually, can't flight.
Yeah.
No, but okay.
Yeah, so you have to fight, yeah.
And that was like, that came about because we were all strung out. I think it was like the second or third night in a row that we'd played, and everyone was just dusty as. And
We do.
so it doesn't happen often. Like we
No,
don't. Have, we,
we
do
do
have
have
a
a
bit of a
lot.
standard.
Yeah.
Like we get loose, but
To a point.
yeah, to a point. Yeah.
We learned the hard way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, honestly, because once once it goes south, it's south
Yeah.
for good.
And you just get that feeling that you never want to do that again. Like,
Yeah.
you feel like you've almost betrayed all the effort you've put in.
But like we've played a lot of shows, only about 3 have been disasters. So I'd say it's good numbers.
pretty good strike rate.
Yeah.
Oh, and again, you got to go through a disaster to know like
No,
what
exactly.
those standards are, right?
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
And that realization of like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
this is the
this is game day.
yeah. No, treat it with a bit more respect, I think.
And there are disasters that can be salvaged. Like at Jungle Love, we played a festival and some shit went a bit awry as well. But we managed to just keep the crowd engaged, have a laugh.
How?
Oh, it was
talking
just
shit.
my usual charismatic self, Kieran.
I'm sure you will.
I was just yarning, trying to keep them distracted while
yeah,
these 2 sorted out whatever
there
was
it is.
going on.
Yeah, I had snapped in the first song a string on my guitar, and then snapped another string on my spare guitar in the second song. And it was like a 40-minute set. So there's a guy running around backstage in the radio going, "Does anyone have a G string? I'm looking for a G string." And
The musical G string, I
that
presume.
no, yes. I couldn't restring that on my guitar. But then, yeah, I thought that was a disaster.
That was a
and then
good show.
a bunch of
Yeah,
people
that
came
man.
up and said they loved it. So
It was memorable.
yeah.
Not a lot of music got played. And if it did, it was probably terrible. But the jokes were on.
There was
how cool.
some solid monologues coming out of it. How is given that y'all are big personalities on the stage, how much of yourselves, like, is there any persona element, or is it all just generally just who y'all are having a good time up there?
I feel like it's just me to the end. Like, I mean, it's just like a more amplified version. Like, I don't feel like there's any acting. I don't write anything down. I don't practice it. I just get out there and do what I feel like doing. So I'd say it's a pretty authentic version of myself. Probably like the most authentic, I guess. Like, where I feel, without sounding too cliched, just like free to
Express.
to
whatever you're
express,
feeling.
and get it
that's
all
100%.
out
That's
on the
why it's so
stage,
fun.
get some pent up stuff out, use it as a method for myself, So I think, yeah.
And same for you, Tommy.
Yeah, I just have a lot of fun. I just think it's a great.
It looks like
Yeah.
out there jumping up and down with
Yeah.
a massive grin the whole time.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a great thing to do, and super grateful every time we get to play a show. So I think that just shows on me when I play.
And how much, you were talking about drinking and, that sometimes impacting. And obviously, I know how that is from the DJ side.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
How, especially when you got a rider. Like, you got free piss.
Riders are starting to get better too. It's dangerous.
You're allowed to ask for better stuff.
Yeah,
you mean?
Yeah.
Are you mindful? Because we come from a culture of absolute, piss take and drinking, and part of the rock scene in Australia is also that same thing on the electronic side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any? Are you considering or starting to consider, or have you always thought about health and sustainability along the way, or or now with the tours happening more hectically, are you
I think,
or are you just like, nah, fuck it, let's just smash
I'm sort of leaning towards the latter there. Yeah. I'm not a fine wine.
Yeah.
They need to put me on the shelf and keep me forever. I've got a few good years.
I mean, you're still young and fit, and plenty of energy out there. Is it? But yeah.
I think we attribute like what we talk about with that Moe's show is like part of the lessons learned was, not actually indulging in alcohol too much to the point, and that was probably the first time we started to evaluate how alcohol impacts our live performances, and so from there we've just subconsciously as a band to put the best show on have put a tight lid on that. And it's a bit different with tours because you're Brizzy today, Sydney tomorrow. It's you're more strung out, you're more tired, but yeah, I definitely do think that just in a way to deliver the best kind of show and be true to ourselves and make us proud is checking that for sure.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess it takes a lot of other bands a lot longer to even start thinking about that kind of shit. I guess it's also like that's a conversation just more broadly.
Yeah, absolutely.
In society than it ever used to be, and it's not something you would often even ask a band.
No.
Back in the day, when we were growing up, that's not something that interviewers really would ask. It's just part of.
Yeah, you're so bold.
Yeah.
You're going places where no one's ever been before you.
Just rehashing. Well, speaking of, in terms of actual what you're writing and performing, you are part of a legacy of rock music, but you obviously bring something new to the table. I find even just, it's not the genre I listen to most, but, you got hooks in there that are still in my head. And I came to the show last night and I'm like, they're easy to spill out from me. So, what is it that you're doing new, or or do you even know, or is it just laying shit down and seeing what happens?
No, I don't know. I think that something a bit. I think we all are trying to, any creative, are trying to be as original as possible. There's only so original, I guess, you feel like you can be, but. Yeah, I feel like I just fully lost my train of thought.
It's all right. That's what Tommy's here for.
I think
Sorry
that there's
about
a point, part of our point of uniquity comes from that any member of the band can start a song, and whatever energy is associated with that, first part of that song, we carry that through. We don't try and change that to fit our sound. We'll see that thing that's brought to us all the way to its conclusion, as an amalgamation.
And we try to be honest, I think, is a key thing about our band. It's trying to sing about what, I don't know, not trying to present I know in my writing, I just always want to be honest. I don't want to, and I feel like that's the only way I can describe it. And the boys are just so good. So I think that we are unique in that sense because there's no bullshit. And the boys are really have become over the past few years a really exciting unit to watch. These guys, that sets us apart a bit, just how well they play together. We all play together, but.
How's that felt in the studio, or when you're practicing or putting songs together? Is that alchemy? Just more. What are the things that you're seeing or feeling?
It's just things come, the more we play, the more familiar we get with each other. So things come tighter. It's easier to try new things.
And everybody feels more free to say their piece and suggest things. And in the early days, it was a bit more everyone was feeling each other out and not trying to step on anybody's toes or whatever. But nowadays, it's just more of all right, let's get the best song we can. No hard feelings. Let's just get into it. And
the more we play, I think the more each person feels like they're having a greater creative impact in the songs, which I think is cool.
And like you said, several songs like start from, it sounds like everyone's contributed to the
Yeah.
genesis of a song.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Sure. Some songs we don't have any set songwriting methods. Like some, like Man Scout, we were having a practice and Ewan just started playing that riff just because he was bored while everyone was setting up, and we were like, Bryce just next thing you know, Bryce is drumming along, and there you go.
Jump
There's
in.
a hit. It took about 5 seconds. I was like, I got something in my phone notes for this.
Yeah.
Hold up.
It just said Man Scout in
Yeah,
context.
yeah. And then I was like,
Boy Scout,
I said
but
that
man.
chorus, and Ewan was like, yeah, that's it. I was like, all right, nice.
Well, you actually mentioned the story of that coming about, during the live set last night, that management was like, "Oh, you need a single
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this
the
tour
tour's
that's
booked.
booked
That's
in."
how
Where's
it
the
happened,
song?
Yeah.
Is pressure an element in your creative process?
It was this time. It definitely was this time. Usually up until now, it's been on us to make stuff whenever we want. And just but this time was, it was the first time I kind of felt the heat because the tour, like literally the tour was booked. And we had been bold enough to be like, yeah, we'll have a song by then. No worries. And then Agnes was like, where's the song?
Yeah, we
And
couldn't
we were like-
release the artwork because we didn't know what it was going to be called or if it was even going to be Man Scout that we were recording.
Yeah. And I was trying to get the boys, like that. I didn't even want to do this one. I was like, oh, you should do this other one. And they were like, no. But, so this time it was, and that was a bit of an experiment, because like I am the kind of person who sometimes needs I'll be better with a deadline, if I can see something's coming, I'll finally get it done. But this was a bit close for comfort.
So maybe a longer deadline next time.
Yeah, maybe I've just got to plan better.
Will, I want to ask something about writing, because as far as I understand, most of the lyrics come from you, or is there other elements?
all of them.
Yeah,
lyrics
cool,
come
cool.
from me, yeah.
When you're writing, are you thinking much about delivery and alliteration? Because it sounds like when you're singing, it goes from kind of like a spoken word to proper singing to like all these mix in between.
'cause I wanna do it
sounds
all.
Like, half the time it sounds like you're just talking shit with the boys having beers as well. Like, so when you're writing, how do you think about the delivery?
Sometimes when I'm writing, I just like hear it, like it'll already, like I can already hear a melody for it, and it'll just stick with me, and I won't be able to get it out of my head, so I'll just do it that way. But often, I will just have to shove it in. These guys, I'll just
Make
have
it
like
work.
a poem or something, and these guys, if they're playing something, but that's one of the. I love it because songs come about different ways. Like sometimes I just hear it, like I said, and I can get it out, communicate it to the boys through that. But or otherwise, like if they just start playing and then to adapt some lyrics to something that's like a whole nother exciting thing to do. And then sometimes you come up with the best. Like that's how Not At All started.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Was because I just had this poem and it was just like. The phrasing was kind of all wrong for that, but it was just like I was like I can fit this in here, and it was like a puzzle to be like how can I get this to, and when it took like it didn't take too long and it just feels really natural, like it just feels to me like it was the way it was supposed to go. So yeah, that's my rant about that. There's all different ways.
Did you always write poetry?
Yeah, I have always written poetry. I haven't always been super consistent with it, but I have always, since I was young, used it as a way to get some stuff, just get things out, Yeah, poetry and creative writing I always really quite enjoyed.
But didn't do it. It was more of a personal thing at the time.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah. Like I just would, yeah. I didn't want to, I don't know, I wasn't that. It's just such a personal thing, I guess, poetry is, and it was always, just used it as a bit of a, almost, because I'm not good at like, just like a bit of a diary almost, just like putting little, and I've found books of mine and from when I was like younger and stuff, and it's
Good reading.
It's good reading. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It like stirs up stuff. Like,
It does,
You know,
yeah.
when you're young and you're like, you thought it was bad then, buddy. Fuck.
You just wait.
Yeah, you just wait till you have to fucking pay for your own life. That's when it gets real sketchy.
Oh, feel you. And is there any fodder amongst that? Are you using anything from those old diaries for current stuff? Or is it
No,
just
I mean, and
interesting?
when I say that, I never was that actively keeping diaries. It's just like I've just come across bits of shit that I
Yeah.
wrote.
Did you
but
ever
no.
have an approach to it back then, or was it just...
No, I was back then like I am now, sporadic and bad at bookkeeping, and would literally just be like, "Oh, I want to write something," and just probably scribble it on the back of a fine.
Napkin? Yeah. On
Throw
the
it
back
in the
of a
bin.
fine.
Yeah.
So many toll notice envelopes in our house. Just have
And then I'll
words
read
on
it
them.
like one day and be like, "Oh, that's all right. I should keep that." And I'll be like, "Fuck it."
I'm not paying it, but I'll keep what I scroll.
So, no, my art is for the world at the rubbish dump.
I love that. And Tommy, you've been playing guitar since I knew you back when you were a young fella.
Yeah, I think year 9, I picked up a guitar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why did you pick up a guitar?
Well, I initially picked up a bass and did like 2 years of playing bass and doing lessons and stuff. And I did that because Will was playing guitar. And so I just thought that
Always
makes
was
sense.
following me around.
Brotherly love.
Yeah. And then he was out of the picture maybe. We weren't friends for a little bit, but I started learning guitar.
overseas.
And he was overseas. And then I
Two very different stories.
yeah, you know, it was a long time ago. The vibe was that
We weren't
he
friends
wasn't
for a
there.
bit. Why weren't we friends?
Will's like, wait,
I like you.
yeah. Oh, I'd spit in his coffee and I just picked up a guitar and then I never really thought too much about it. It was always just that thing that would just sit in my room, and then when you were bored, you'd play it, and then I guess if you do that enough, it becomes a passion. And then it just became like this.
Sounds so transactional. It's like, I guess if you do it long enough, you'll
Yeah.
learn to love it.
Yeah. But then I don't know. I think as life kind of changed for me as I became older and moved out of home and stuff, it became a tool for me to express emotions that I probably was censoring before I expressed them. Like, when you're angry, maybe you don't want to act angrily, so you'll censor yourself. Or if you're sad, it's probably best if you don't air that. So, when you play guitar, if you're angry, you can play loud. If you're sad, you can play delicately. Like, there's a story, and Will knows it, but Not At All was initially written as like a fingerpicky folk song, and then we went to practice, and I didn't even realize I was pissed off, but apparently I was, and then I just started playing it. The style it is on the song, like completely different.
Faster, distorted, yeah.
And then everyone was just like, "What's that? That sounds awesome." And I was like, "Oh, right."
It's literally the song. But,
This
but this is how I am today.
Yeah, honestly. So having that for me has been a really useful tool to help me navigate what I'm going through. Yeah.
Well, we come from, we all grew up similarly in that sense, in the region we're from, and mental health now is a conversation, as we touched on before. Was music, was it obvious that it was going to be that for you, and has it given you now more tools or even language to like
Absolutely.
figure stuff out in life?
I remember there's a story, and Dad tells it, but I think I was like in year 10 or year 11, and I used to just turn all the lights off and lie on my bed and stare at the ceilings and just listen to like this one album. I think it was Dot Hacker album.
Which who's that?
Dot Hacker. It's I forget what the album's called. But Dad always thought I was stoned because it's just like, what are you
drawn
what are you
the
doing?
curtains,
It's like a
yeah.
Saturday and you're just in there lying down. But no, from pretty early on, I knew music made me feel a lot more than other things did. Especially forms of media. It was the one that got to me for sure, and definitely gave me tools to, because it covers so many themes, like so many songs about so many different things, so many stories get told, that it's a good way to learn about those emotions as well.
Speaking of, I want to touch touch Will. I want to touch Will.
Come get a big boy.
He's real. With Will, I want to touch on that emotion. In particular, we were talking about delivery just before, and the range that you have there. And in particular, I want to touch on tractor parts.
Yeah.
Because I just want to ask, like, taking you back to the studio that day that you were recording.
Yeah.
What were you feeling?
Probably same thing I'm always feeling on recording day, which is like keen to get this done. It's like exam day. I'm like a average musician who's like, I still get quite like, I'm getting better. I'm learning to enjoy the process more, but generally, in historically speaking, recording I get quite like a bit tense. So I guess what we have always done, like I said, I'm getting to like it a bit more now, feeling a bit more relaxed because we've done so much of it now. But I guess we just always try to have stuff to a certain point before we go in there. So even if your default is just knowing the shit out of it. So. But that song, I don't know. That song was a really good. It was easy. It was one of those ones that I wrote it, and then I showed it to the guys, and they all really liked it. And then they had parts for it almost immediately. So it was definitely one we wanted to get right. But I think the ways we got it right was just to leave it so open and sparse. I guess the tracking of it and stuff. But yeah. Just another day in the office, mate. It's the long story short. Yeah. Fucking,
well, are you worried? Is it just when you're on a recording day? Is it just because you've got some shit you've got to do, or is it because these the moments you're capturing?
Yeah, it's just,
they mean something because this is paid studio time. We've got to smash this out. Like, is it different? Is that the reason why it's different to like a practice day or a songwriting day?
Yeah, well, it's just so definite. Like it's going to be like captured and reproduced. Like it's going to be potentially live longer than you.
So the weight of it that day.
Yeah, and I mean, like I don't know. I don't think everybody. I'm also a bit of a perfectionist, which can drive me nuts at times. Like near to the point of like it's so. But also, music it's wonderful for that because it teaches you to just get it done and move on, and you have to move on. That's a big part of it. You have to fucking let it go and try again, try a new thing. Don't just keep trying to fix the same thing. Just be done with it, And some of our old songs at the time when we recorded them, if there's a mistake in it or whatever, it would drive me nuts. But nowadays I listen to the old stuff and I'm like, that's sick. That's how you know that it was me doing it, and no one cares about the little blemishes and like people. That's the sort of stuff you learn to love, I think. So
it's a time marker from back
absolutely,
100%. And it's a bit selfish even to overthink it too much because when time goes past and you listen back to your old stuff, you're like, yeah, who cares? It was fine. Well, I'm not trying to judge myself that hard, and it really sucks the fun out of it if you start doing that. The best recordings we have done are the ones that are like the most relaxed and the most off the cuff. And
yeah, definitely. I used to be for recording nervous in the first few times we would record just because it's a new skill. Like if you can play the guitar, it doesn't mean you can play it whilst being recorded. There is, new skills that you have to learn, and the other boys have recorded so much stuff together that they were leagues ahead of me, so I had to catch up a bit. But
also having that dynamic in our band is so handy. Like Ewan and Bryce are so well. They're basically like session music. They have done so much recording together that they're like clockwork. It doesn't faze them at all. They get in there and they just get it done. Like they're both freaks. It's so handy. And Tom as well. It's not. I don't mean, but those two specifically have worked together for so long and so hard that it's just like there's such assets to have because they can just have a drum and bass track down in not that long.
And is that just because of their familiarity or their comfort level?
Yeah,
like what gets in the way for someone who isn't as experienced, for example?
Well, there's the nerves of just the finality of every note you play being played back to you.
And it's like, like the more you do something, the more you get accustomed to it. Like they are just so unfazed by the whole, there's none of that jittery shit that I get sometimes with them, you know. They're just like, okay, yeah, we're just
they're
doing this
robots.
again. Yeah, exactly.
Music making robots.
Music, John literally is like bass robot. And just playing the most psycho
robot.
thing, just kind of like, yeah.
Singing a harmony at the same time.
The album at the farm. Tell me about that. How did that all start?
Well, we had an album. And we were like,
And
how
we
can
knew a
we
farm.
rehash this thing a bit more? How can we really squeeze the life out of it without having to actually do any more work? No, actually, it was quite a bit of work. No, we just thought it was going to be a good way to round that album out because we're proud of the album. It was good. Took it on tour. We had the space available to us, and we thought we'll do a live album. That'd be cool. We had Cody on board, our sound engineer, to help us, and we got James. We just have such a good crew of people around us now that it's just not so hard to pull shit like that off. And,
Having Cody and like James makes that stuff just so much more possible.
So and we just thought we'll just get a few friends and family. We'll do an intimate sort of a thing, and it was really just fun, you know. After that, we just had a bit of a fire, and everybody hung out, had a few beers, and it was just exactly just a good way to say, like, that's it for the album. It's done. We're on to new stuff now, and just to cap it off, and it's cool to have it on Spotify and stuff, and just be like another little thing that's out there.
Yeah.
What does the farm mean to y'all?
Inheritance.
Tick. Absolute tick.
No, I love that place. I love it so much. I worked there for a long time. I'm not working there now, but it's a magical spot for sure.
You spent a fair bit of time there as well, or?
I used to spend a bit more, but with the band and working, I don't get down as much. But for me, when I do get down, it just is peace, you know, to be out of the city, away from work, away from practice, just out there.
Getting fed
in the
by
trees,
Mum.
and the Brahman cows.
The life back in Brizzy, what are y'all doing when you're not working on music?
Working on real jobs, jobs that actually make money. Yeah.
I'm a geologist, and so I do that full time.
Yeah, he's a nerd in
Rocks.
music, and
Rock and rocks.
Yep.
Dang, you got the double right
The
there.
double R.
Why did you get into geology?
I moved up to Brizzy for the band, and then I started a cabinet making apprenticeship, and the people I was doing with were not nice people, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to spend 4 years making no money, I may as well do it in something that I might enjoy and might be able to sit down after 5 years in the job or something. So I was always pretty good at science, and it was between that and chemistry, and then I just ended up doing that with a chemistry minor. But I always get confused because people are like, it's so lucky you love what you do, but I don't know if I love what I do or I just would have loved anything I did. But I do really enjoy geology. It's a very cool science, so grateful that it was the first one.
Yeah. I love what you just said there around, like, I don't know if it's what I would have just loved or if you would just love anything you do.
Yeah.
Can you speak about that a bit more?
I can only articulate that in the context of uni degrees, but you know how people are just, they're on their fourth or fifth, and it's
Still trying to find
the right thing. And I just, it's like I didn't do my first day and was like, oh, this is amazing, but it's like I could make this work, you know. But I think a huge part of that comes from having the band already, because to me my career is literally only a means to keep me afloat while I'm doing this. Like, I don't see it as, I think once you start looking for expression, even creative expression, in a institutionalized degree kind of corporate job, you run into trouble and you may have issues with, you know, identity and who you are and such. So having the band to solidify my creative output just freed me up so much to do anything as a job, you know.
He's really going to be upset when he finds out he's sacked. Jeez, man.
You heard it here first, Tommy.
I wouldn't be that upset.
We
So-
make lots of sacked jokes. No one's actually getting sacked.
No, yeah.
Everyone's
Please
equally stuck in this shit show. Yeah.
In the vortex.
Yeah.
So what are you doing day to day in geology, in a geology job?
It's engineering geology, so it is like essentially where construction and design meets the ground. So like part of the works we were doing were on the like dams, a lot of dam work. One of the jobs was there's a landfill in the Gold Coast that's leaking leachate.
Oh God.
So yeah, we had to drill and design and do the modelling for all of that.
To fix the leak.
Yeah, pretty much plug it. But yeah, it's a mix of field work and office work, and you know, bosses are cool and lenient with the band, which you would just
Essential.
have to be. It would be
Yeah.
impossible if they weren't. So
And like you said, one's the priority, not the other.
Yeah.
The band is the priority, right?
well, I tell them that the band's just a hobby and geology is the real passion, but
Okay, so
I'm
hopefully
not sure
they
they
don't hear
believe
this.
it.
Tells
Yeah.
us that,
He's playing both sides.
yeah. He's half-assed in two things, but he's not whole-assed in anything.
So if I were to ask the question, what would you be doing if you weren't doing music? There's no real answer because it's music. Like,
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
in some form or another.
I'd be writing, I think, of some sort. I like writing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, music would be... It's always been the dream, I guess.
Can you see yourself, Will, when you're 50 and trying to get off stage and into an armchair writing some longer form stuff?
Yeah,
Or poetry,
definitely,
books
definitely.
even?
Man, 100%.
All the old
Poetry,
fodder?
short stories, yeah. You know, I'd love to maybe write a book one day. That would take a big... I don't know, you know, you've done it. It's quite a feat to do that.
It is a fuck around, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
If it's what you want to do.
So,
You just
but
gotta
yeah,
wanna do it.
I definitely want to keep. I want to keep doing that, and I wouldn't mind getting into acting as well. I think acting would be sick. I'm acting in a short film that's getting done soon too, which is going to be my intro. So
Nice.
I imagine I'll be fantastic in it.
Yeah.
I know you
notes.
imagine
win
you're
awards and
fantastic.
stuff.
Right?
No notes. Your performance was beautiful.
Sublime.
Yeah.
Sublime. What led you into a little short role?
Our mate James is a video man, cinematographer, I guess, and a writer as well. And he had this story, and then I guess we just had a chat after a show one night and we must have been talking about how I wanted to get into acting one day, and then he had this thing come up, and he thought of that and asked me if I'd still be keen to do it. Because he's seen us play a bunch of times, kind of knows what we're about, and it's his story. And
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it's almost like this character is like, I guess he just kind of got the sense that I'd be good for it. I feel so. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna go up in December, or we're gonna go north in December and film like a little short version of it. And then, we're going to film the rest of it next year.
Oh, fantastic.
But I'm keen, yeah.
What's the character about?
I won't, without giving too much away, it's rooted in, like, small town, you know. It's, I had to write a song, he asked me to write a song for it, and on the themes of hometown and nostalgia and all, you know, that sort of thing. And so, I had to go for a bit of a reflect on how and I tried to sort of use my own experience from Forster to inspire it, but I don't know.
Keen.
Yeah, it should be good. Looking forward to it.
I want to ask about, do you have much nostalgia for Forster tongue curry? But before I ask that, with the acting avenue, is it something that you see in the future where you're doing music, you're writing, you're acting it's a full mix, or is it something that you might do in stages, or are you just gonna see what happens?
No, I feel like just do them all. I mean, like
Just do them all, bro.
yeah, just get it all in.
Get in there.
I mean, I don't mind being busy when it's stuff that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good way to be, I think. It's if I can get to the point, you know, obviously the dream's to get to the point where you don't have to slave away at 10 different jobs, you know, have your real job and then still be scurrying around doing your acting and your whatever. So, like right now, in the current climate of my life, I probably can't fit in heaps of acting.
Yeah.
Music does to get priority there, but
and paying around.
you know, it's all just a bit of a pipe dream. But it's just like if all goes well with this first one, and I
It's a
just think it'd
dream
be fun.
nonetheless.
You know, I think it's the kind of thing that's gonna. I think, you know, I could be horribly wrong, but I feel like similar to music in a sense. I quite enjoy that, you know, immersing into some sort of a character, and I feel like it comes naturally to me. So I feel like it's just a good challenge for myself to see how I go, and yeah,
Yeah,
I
100%.
imagine I'll just be fantastic, as I said, winning awards.
It's a natural progression.
Exactly.
With what we're just touching on, you know, the themes of hometown. Now that you are established and you have a home base, you know, how do you feel about, you know, the memories in Forster Tuncurry? How did that make you into the people who you are today?
I got love for that place. You know, I think it was like the place itself is beautiful. That it was pretty brutal in other ways as well to grow up in that place. It was pretty like rough. You know, you came from there. It wasn't. I look back at it with just every emotion. I felt it all there. You know, at the end of the day, I do love it. It's a beautiful spot. I'm not going back there. I don't have any sense of yearning to. My parents don't live there anymore, so I've got just about no. I don't really go there anymore. I don't really think about it too much. You know, it's.
It's not on the
I
tour
wasn't-
date, you know, priorities.
Nah, exactly, and it's I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it was a good place to go to school, and a great place to grow up, and it was. But that's it. I'm out of there now, and probably wouldn't raise my kids there. It's full of old people and
Not much else.
not much else. Yeah.
Is that similar? to
Yeah,
Tom?
I mean, when I think of Forster, I just think that all my friends are from there, and all the memories I have growing up with them, and you know, I look back on it with love. But you know, I'd go back to visit. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah,
Radium
no.
Dolls.
I'll go back and see
Foster,
Kale
RSL.
once every couple
Yeah.
of years.
Shout out Kale.
Shout
Shout out Kale. How's the Sunnies collection going by now?
Shit ass. You'd think I'd have heaps, but I fucking don't. I got given these ones, and I've scratched the bejesus out of the lenses. But terrible.
Given the in the rock world, you know, it's a kind of a weird ecosystem with the rest of the world where, for many decades, it's a place where on stage you've got blokes getting up there smashing crazy guitar riffs, but they've got makeup on or crazy outfits. And masculinity these days is a big like conversation point, bit of a fist fight kind of conversation for a lot of people. Is that something that you'll think about when you're setting up how you want to style yourself? Is it something you have to think, am I going against something that I grew up thinking, or is it just let's put some fucking lippy and some sunnies and have some fun on stage?
Yeah, I think
I'm all
it's-
about freedom. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, I just think I don't think that thought really comes up. I think it's just, I reckon that'd look good. Or I feel like that would be cool. Yeah.
And I'm all about freedom of expression. You know, dress how you. I would like to think that our band, like we want to set an example of just do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter, be what you want to be. You know, like for me, it was liberating to I just wear whatever I like now. I don't know. It's nice to just this is my show. I want to crop my shirt and wear makeup and lips. It's what I don't do whatever I like, you know. So It's good. Like, I want everyone to just, if there's young people at our shows, they should leave it feeling, free to do whatever they like, I guess.
Yeah. No, I just think, I don't think that we ever really worry about what we wear or sort of how we aesthetically present.
Did you used to, even just individually?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a bit of a bug up my ass about, like, if I don't like what I'm wearing, then I don't feel it bothers me. So, I don't know, bit of a, yeah, like, I'm just want to, look good, feel good, that whole thing, like, that really affects me. Like, I'm just like, if something's bothering me about my outfit, it'll drive me insane.
Quick fashion change on the street if necessary. And you, Tommy, you just whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had a history of bad haircuts and bad dye jobs. I've had to shave my head a bunch of times from just terrible dues. So I've never really put too much emphasis on how I look because some days it's good, some days it's bad. Who cares?
That's the way. I think that's what we need to consider more. We're going to be wrapping up pretty shortly. Thanks so much for coming on.
No,
That's
thanks
a
for having
pleasure.
us.
Is there anything else? Is there anything you want to ask each other while we're getting deep and have microphones recording every second?
Do you know where my bag is?
No,
Which bag?
I have my backpack. It's somewhere. And
Shoddy not doing the dishes when we get home.
nah, that's not fair. You can't do that on camera. That's. I don't accept that.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable? No, man, not really.
Yeah, we live together. We play music together. We
You know everything
very
there is to know.
deeply
Not
entrenched
really.
in each
He's a
other's
bit of
life.
he doesn't give much away. How's your love life? Tell everybody on the air today.
I was going to ask, are either of you in love? I kind of know the answer, but
Yeah. Yep.
any story would be, or any line after that would be great.
I bet it would. I bet it would. No, look, I don't know. There's many words, and none of them seem appropriate.
Will's the poet, not me.
I just play the guitar. I smile. That's it.
And Will, you in love?
Just asked you if you love your misso, dude. Relax. Just say yes and shut the fuck up.
Yes. I
Yeah, I'm in love, sure. Shout out Sophie.
Shout out Sophie.
Yeah, and Rumi.
And Ruby.
Rumi, that's her daughter.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'll let it slide. This one
I'll
time.
edit that one to sound like I was perfect. How's it having a relationship with a young, beautiful human being in the mix?
It's cool. It's exciting.
First time, yeah?
Yeah, it's new for me, so it's still getting used to it. I think everybody's still getting used to it, but it's cool. I'm excited about it, and feel like it's, I don't know. She's a rad little dancer, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing her grow up, what she turns into. It's going to be pretty. Stand the fuck out the way.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, so I feel like a lot of that I was just sort of fumbled my way through, but that's all right.
Isn't that life?
Bit of brain dead. I've only got 2 or 3 brain cells left from last night, and they're squabbling. at the
Yeah,
moment.
they're cool.
You only lost your train of thought once.
No, I'd lost it a few times, and then I was like, come on, Will, keep it together here, buddy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Is there anything else you would like to leave dear listeners with? Is there anything else you want to even ask of me?
Just follow your dreams.
Yeah.
No,
Reach
there
for
was
the
some-
stars, even if you miss.
Not taking the
You'll
piss.
land
Yeah,
it.
among the moon.
I know I'm with people. I know the inherent default is take the absolute piss.
No,
but-
I was going to say, there was something you said when we played a show. We played a show with Small Fry Rock, which is to all toddlers. And it was like an acoustic show.
yeah.
And it was actually really, really... It was one of my favourite gigs. They had all these balloons and like... And kids are so funny, eh? They just stand at the stage and just stare at you. And you're just looking down and you're like, oh my God. But Will said something. If you want to be to all the kids out there, if you want to be
To all the kids. I just told them to be rock and roll stars.
Yeah. That was profound, I thought. But
Was it?
Maybe
Oh, that's
I was
good.
tired.
I thought I was. Yeah. The
was
parents
the way
didn't
you
clap
said it.
that much. They were like, no, you're
Don't be
doing
a-
law school. Yeah.
Don't be a
Shut
doctor,
up.
kid.
Yeah.
So that's the message we're imparting for the end of the podcast.
Don't be
Yeah,
doctor,
whatever he
be a
was
rock
trying
and
to
roller.
say.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tell your kids to be rock stars.
Because it's working out amazingly for you.
Work.
all.
It's heaps of money.
But you're
Healthy lifestyle. And that's pretty much covers it.
but you're enjoying life.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Last 2 days have been awesome. Sydney popped off, and Brizzy as always was nuts. Keen as for Melbourne and Adelaide, and coming into next year, like next year's going to be a big year for us.
Big
so
plans.
It's always something exciting in the short term and the long term, and
Yeah, music makes years really short. You're like, not only, you know how you just like say something's next year and you're like, oh, that's fucking ages away. But now it's like,
You gotta start
you
writing.
plan shit for
Yeah.
like so far away. Like, we're going to hopefully do a Europe tour. That's no big secret, really.
no,
is
we
it?
told pretty much
Wow.
everyone.
So that's like something that's
Yeah, like but that's the end of next year.
a bit on.
Yeah,
But yeah, time to start hooking in, eh?
yeah, gotta
Always
have
work
something.
to be done.
But it sounds like you've been hooking in for the last few years. Radium Dolls since 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And for many years to come.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful
Hopefully.
yeah.
Sweet, eh? Leave that in.
That's a beautiful
we practiced it.
note to end on. Thank you so much for being on
Alright.
Hot Nerds, Will
Pleasure.
and Tommy.
thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
That was
Cheers.
awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Hot Nerds podcast. We don't host ads, but if you find any value in what our team does, please feel free to support us via the links in our show notes or buy my book, Yeah, as it greatly assists with producing this show. Thank you again. See you soon. Stay hot, stay nerdy.